Greetings to all my dear friends and colleagues joining in today's symposium on discovering the hidden gems in our museum. My name is Gupta. I am scientist at the Zoological Survey of Kolkata and also in charge of the beetle collection in my department. Today's topic of my research is on century of stag beetles, photographic documentation, and new discoveries from the Zoological Survey of India collections. As we all know that Leucanidae include over 1800 species, subspecies belonging to 148 genera and 5 subfamilies globally. And they are basically sarcoidic insects which decompose the wood, and they are crucial component particularly in the lowland and mountainous areas dominated by the broadleaf woody plants, especially in India, in the Himalayan and the northeastern parts of the country. And they serve as an indicator of the forest ecosystem. With regards to Indian fauna, Gravely in 1915 published the first catalogue of the Leucanidae in the Indian Museum, which is still the part of the Zoological Survey of India. All the collections of the older Indian Museum is available in the Zoological Survey of India. Later on, G.J. Hare published the fauna of British India on the families Leucanidae and Pachylidae, which is still the it still helps in the identification and basic for identification of any Leucanidae from Indian subcontinent. During the objectives of my study was to examine the Leucanidae material in the National Zoological Collection at the Kolkata and build an inventory of the stag beetles available in India and their distribution in different states and the geographic zones. Also to develop a photographic catalog. I along with my students studied more than 1,000 specimens of the stag beetles in our collection from different parts of the country and photographed and identified over 97 species, and all of them have been photographed with the male, female and different morphs were photographed for this documentation. And you all know that this Zoological Survey of India Museum is at the eastern part of the country, and we develop a good gallery for the visitors also, so they can visit the specimens. Our inventory revealed that there are over 201 species, subspecies are reported from Leucanidae reported from India belonging to 28 genera, and only 3 subfamilies are reported from. They, of course, the Leucanidae is the largest subfamily in case of Indian fauna. As in case of bird also, Leucanidae is the largest. If we see the rate of description and contribution of different authors, 1835, during 1835 and 1875, 66 species were described at that time by Hope, Perry and Westbrook. The 3 authors contributed nearly 66 species, and later on in the 20th century, 1890s and 1920, 38 species were described. And after a gap of nearly 90 years, in the 2011 and 2020, 22 further species were described from India. When we studied and compared the diversity of different diversity and distribution of stag beetles in different biographic zones, we came to know that Himalayan region, which include only 6.4% of the area, include nearly 65% of the diversity. This is the case with the northeastern part also. Northeastern part, especially the Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, and Nagaland region, they have a huge number of species in those areas. Western Ghats, though having less number of species, but has some endemic species that are exclusively present in the Western Ghats region. This is in the Cyclometilus mingiesi tonkiniensis, which we collected from the southern part of the Great Nicobar of India, the Great Nicobar Biosphere Reserves in Andaman and Nicobar Island. This is first time recorded from India. Dorsani, of course, the tribe Dorsani includes more than half of the species of entire Leucanidae, and the 2 genera, that is Proscopoilus and the Dorcas, are the most species rich in case of our collection as well as the diversity, overall diversity in India. Leucanid, in Leucanid, the genus Leucanus includes 23 species. 11 species are present in our collection. They are the most charismatic species in case of stag beetles. This Heterocestus andamanensis is exclusively present in the Andaman and Nicobar Island, and none of the specimen is reported from the mainland India so far. And another genus in the Odontolapis, this is very so 8 species are reported in this particular genus. However, two share the distribution in the peninsular India, where the other 6 species are exclusively in the Himalayan and northeastern part of the country. The Hexatharius, 6 species in this genus, and all of them are reported from the Himalayan. If we see that even though we have a good collection, but still we need to conduct many field surveys, especially in the unexplored and the forest tracts of Nagaland, Manipur, and Arunachal Pradesh. We have taken the projects to collect and study the leucanid collection in these areas. So that, and we want to develop a national red list for different beetles in that the region. Uh, at the last, I would like to thank the members, esteemed members of the Entomological Collection Network for accepting our abstract to present in this very prestigious annual meet of the ECN, and all other colleagues who have joined online and offline for patience listening to my talk. Thank you very much.
And with that, we'll have Luc Leblanc, the Malcom Furniss collection of bark beetles.
Okay, so I'm at University of Idaho. Our museum has about 1 million specimens, and I'll show you one of its gems. So first, I come from the Hymenopterist community. We had this great talk about Lubo Masner. That's Lubo in 1985 when I was working in that unit. So I know Lubo really well, and the gentleman with him, so Lubo was the proctotrupoid person, Carl Yoshimoto was a calcid person, and Carl hired me when I was 19 years old to work for him. I worked for him until he retired. He's someone I still to this day look up to as a great, great inspiration. Carl was from local Japanese from Hawaii, and I never thought that years later I would live in the neighborhood where he grew up. That was incredible. And that I would spend all these years in the South Pacific Islands where Carl collected back in the 60s. So anyways, we're leaving the Hymenoptera. Now we're getting into bark beetles. So the Bar Museum was founded by John Haldrick in the late 1800s, but it's Bill Barr, a notable puprestid and clarid taxonomist who grew the collections. He had numerous graduate students. And when I was a young little kid already noticing dragonflies, he had 2 graduate students. One of them is Rick Westcott, who many of you know as a puprestid person. And the other one, who fewer know about, is Mal Furniss. So we'll be back with Rick. So Mal Furniss, the name Furniss, you see it also in the Western Forest Insect, which is a classic book still current. So Robert Furniss, well, it's Mal Furniss' older brother, also forest entomologist like Mal. But Mal got into entomology as undergrad. He was studying botany, actually, and he took interest into entomology. when he was undergrad student. So he was from New Jersey and moved to UC Berkeley to do his undergrad degree and graduated 1950, a long time ago. In 1954, he got a job, moved to Idaho to work as a forestry entomologist, and went back to school in the 1960s under guidance of Bill Barr. And his official paid work career ended in 1982. For Mal, retirement meant more time for research and publications. So, and that shows, you see, he has published more after retirement than during his career. And he has published over 7 decades. His first paper, 1955, his latest one, June this year. And he's not finished yet. So he published 151 papers, including 73 papers on ecology of bark beetles, his main area of research. And he published, among others, the Bark Beetles of Idaho field guide. And on the right side, last year, he called me. He said, well, I have these insect surveys of the Hells Canyons of Idaho. It's a technical report, so cannot go to a journal. So I said, I'll help you publish it. So our University Extension Service, they have a series of technical report. They said, oh, we're not interested. Bummer. So something I didn't think I would be doing. I created the Barr Museum Technical Report Series, and I helped put together that report, and then we got it published. So, and Mal is also an historian. He's the historian of the Forest History Society, and you can see from these titles like how varied these 33 papers on history of forestry entomology are, and his biographies of these early characters who shaped the forest entomology as a discipline. So his archives are conserved at the University of Idaho Library, and there's a photo of it here. There's your unit tray, Svan. The sorting dish, don't forget it. And so 21 linear feet of photos and documents, his research notes, everything. It's really amazing. And his collection is at the Barr Museum. I'm very proud to be caretaker of his museum and of knowing him personally. So over 25,000 specimens, over 600 species, 55 drawers, and the majority are bred from host, not just collected in traps or by sweeping, no, bred from host material. And that's extraordinary, and it includes the complete voucher series from all his publications that you saw the list before. So among the 55 drawers, drawer 55 is a series of ECM bark beetles mounted on ECM stubs, gold coated. So I did not, I mean, when I recurated the entire collections in 2019, I didn't pay that much attention to these SEM stubs because so many other things to do. So I never thought of asking Mal what these are. But then in February this year, he sent me an email. He said, well, I have all these SEM photos that I took back in the early 2000s. And they're of bark beetles, and I've put together a manuscript, but I don't care anymore about peer reviews and all that. Maybe we can do it as a second technical report of the Bar Museum. And I said, yeah, sure. So I did the layout and I helped put it together and do a bit of proofreading and improved it. And that resulted in the second technical report published 3 weeks before Mal turned 99 years old. He's 99 now and still active, still as sharp as a young man. So that's certainly not his last word. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes up with another manuscript to publish. So I'm going to try to see him next weekend. I could not last weekend. I was just too busy, tied up, preparing a midterm exam for my insect identification class. So I could not do it, but I'll try to go see him. So he's incredible. So that's the hidden gem. Here is a collection, but also the hidden gem is also about the people who contribute these collections. And the second hidden gems that is often overlooked, especially in the big institutions with these astronomical budgets, is our young undergrad students. So for us in low budget, small places, our undergrads are the ones helping us. And I like to get the most out of them. So if you were in Maryland 2 years ago, I had Emma Ekins present on the Buprested work we did together, cataloging the whole bar collections. And actually, and we did the poster also. So actually, we turned it into a publication, an annotated catalog in Insecta Mundi. So you can mentor undergrad students to do these really great things. And best of all, before they graduate, they have their names on peer-reviewed papers, which is a good visit card for when they look for employment. So Emma is working in a forest entomology lab. I mean, for Steve Cook, our forest entomologist, because I no longer have grants to pay her summer salary. So she's presenting tomorrow morning, Emma Ekins. You can watch her session tomorrow morning in the student competitions, undergrad students doing and presenting research, really great. And that paper, Insecta Mundi, we have to look for our own reviewers. I had none other than Rick Westcott himself doing the peer reviewed. And believe me, he did the most thorough, meticulous, and complete peer review I have ever seen. So kudos, Mal. Kudos, Mal. Kudos, Rick. They're really, really great people. So now I have 2 undergrads, just a couple of hours a week each, a few hours a week each. And Jack Holland is from Arizona. And so one thing, University of Idaho is the only university in the Pacific Northwest to have an undergraduate degree with major in entomology. Not that we have that many courses, but we have that draws passionate entomologists, young aspiring entomologists from all over the country. So Jack is from Arizona. He knows grasshoppers at species level, both alive and museum specimens. That is what he's always done. So to have a student who's into Orthoptera, for me, is, I did not expect, is I'm going to close a long or connect a long open loop, because as an amateur entomologist in the 70s, I collected, specialized on Orthoptera. When I had collected enough of them, I switched to Hymenoptera. So that was my first group. So now we're connecting the loop. And Eli Carmona, the other undergrad students who's we completed Lady Bird Beetles of Idaho posters. We have several posters, outreach posters. That's how I can, that saves my job, is outreach with the public and with children. I have another talk coming later on that. And so we're doing the banded wing grasshoppers of Idaho with, and the one who was peer review is none other than our friend Chris Marshall. So pay attention to your undergrads. They can contribute greatly to the advancement of your museum. All right. Thank you.